Greetings, owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles. We are here today to crack some Core Set 2021. Now, we're doing it my style, so if you're somebody who only cares about the rares, feel free to, kind of skim through the video to find what you want to see, because I'm going to take my time with this. I find that when it comes to Magic the Gathering, commons and uncommons, just whatever cards, don't get a lot of appreciation, but there's still a fair bit of effort put into their art, and this is my first time seeing a bunch of these cards, so I'm going to enjoy myself, and you are welcome to do so with me. What do we got here? We're starting out with Frantic Inventory, 1 blue and 1. It's an instant, draw a card, then draw cards equal to the number of cards named Frantic Inventory in your graveyard. They used to have a card called Accumulated Knowledge that did something very similar, but it counted copies of it in everybody's graveyards. So the flavor text says, another village, another angry mob. Why do I even bother unpacking? And you can see this is like a Innistrad, from the world of Innistrad. This is a zombie animator, but instead of like black magic and bring them back that way, the blue zombie creators are more like Frankenstein monster creators. They're like Dr. Frankensteins essentially. So I mean, the artwork's all right. Doesn't really jump out as too much to me. Then we got Crash Through, 1 red for a sorcery that says creatures you control gain trample until end of turn, and draw a card. I mean, this is Amonkhet artwork here. You can see 2 people crashing through a door. Pretty straightforward, nothing too exciting. Then we've got, a Pegasus, 1 white and 1 for a 1/3 flyer. And in the cloudy skies and dim lights of autumn, a flash of white wings is a reminder that better times lie ahead. Sweet Pegasus, take me to times where people aren't so angry on Twitter. All right, let's move on. Ranger's Guile, 1 green. Target creature you control gets +1/+1 and gains hexproof until end of turn. All right, on. Dude, I might actually run this in my green tower. Being able to give hexproof, I mean, the +1/+1 will come in handy, but the ability to give hexproof to save my creatures from getting taken down by destruction spells, I'm all right with that. And the flavor text says, you don't survive in the wild by standing in plain sight. Yeah, all right. It makes it look like the magic is actually like bark skin magic, unless this is just some crazy nature creature. But the way it's saying, hiding and like standing in plain sight versus hiding, I get the vibe that part of the magic like turns you into a little bit tree-like. That's where you get the +1/+1. You're beefier, and it helps you blend in better. Although admittedly, trees don't wear hats and stuff, so maybe ditch the hat before you cast the spell. And maybe your little wolf face down here too. All right. Then we've got Rise Again. 1 black and 4. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Wait, didn't we already... Did they just do another version of this with the different name? I feel like we had this exact card. Was it called Rise Again? I mean, it brings a creature back. I love those who are eager to serve. All right, and it's Liliana Vess. I mean, it shows a zombie busting up out of a coffin. I mean, the whole eager to serve, the way he's coming up, it's not like a slow rise. Sometimes when there's animated dead, they go, they're like really unhappy and like, I don't want to be this way sort of scenario. This one's like, let's do it. Heavy metal. Moving on. We got Sky Scanner. 3 colorless for a 1/1 flyer. When Sky Scanner enters the battlefield, draw a card. The flavor text says, the Municipal Senate makes extensive use of the Thopters, mostly to gather dirt on rival senators. Well, now isn't this an unexciting card? The artwork looks goofy. It's like, I use this to spy on you. Maybe use something that's less obvious? This looks pretty obvious, just flying on through the sky. I don't know, man. It looks goofy and dumb. Let's move on. We've got Caged Zombie. 1 black and 2 for a 2/3. 1 black and 1, tap it. Each opponent loses 2 life. Activate this ability only if a creature died this turn. Flavor text says 6 consecutive life sentences takes on a new meaning when necromancy is involved. That's a crazy concept, actually. Going to a world where you can get multiple life sentences and they'll bring you back to life again and again to serve those life sentences. That's some cool flavor. And the artwork shows a zombie just kind of reaching out like, let me out of this prison, all right, it works. It's pretty straightforward. It is indeed a caged zombie. After that, we've got Spellgorger Weird. 1 red and 2 for a 2/2. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a +1/+1 counter on it. And freed from their respective labs, the two weirds formed a partnership feeding on the arcane energies of Wah. So you can see down here, there's actually another elemental, if you're wondering what they're talking about. I like the Spellgorger weird. It looks very cool. It looks like it's made out of living fire. It looks almost like a frog beast with a gigantic roaring mouth and even a tongue made out of flame. That's funky. I mean, not a great card, but we're here to appreciate the cards as opposed to just look for powerful stuff. Now, once I've seen a common once, we're not going to spend the same amount of time on it. We're only going to look at each card once. Radiant Fountain, it's a land. When Radiant Fountain enters the battlefield, you gain 2 life. Tap it to add a colorless. Flavor text says, all people treasure a place where the weary traveler may drink in peace. And that's a Johnny Goldmain. All right, well, I mean, yeah, a fountain that has life-sustaining waters is definitely going to be treasured by people. That's all right. And the artwork shows a fountain. I guess it's radiant. Does it feel radiant? Not so much, but it's a perfectly fine looking fountain. After that, and actually on that note, I really like the idea of like fountains of youth and things like that, where they're just kind of located in a city and the residents don't realize that they actually have magical properties. Moving on, we got Truffle Snout. What a cute little name. 1 green and 2 for a 2/2. When Truffle Snout enters the battlefield, choose one. Put a +1/+1 counter on it, or you gain 4 life. Its exploits are the stuff of legends among local chefs and fuel for nightmares among the forest thalids. I really like this card. I think it's just cute. I think it's fun. The name is great. The flavor text is great. You've got Truffle Snout. He feels like he should be legendary. You know what I mean? I am Truffle Snout, but he's not powerful enough to be Truffle Snout. I don't know. There's something about saying Truffle Snout that's dope. I love it. This is just fun, silly little art. He's got a whole little basket on his back, all the truffles that he's found. You're gonna make me rich, Truffle Snout. Oh. Then we've got, moving into the uncommons, Invigorating Surge. 1 green and 2 for an instant that says put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control, then double the number of +1/+1 counters on that creature. Flavor text says, for Hydras, most problems can be solved with the addition of a few extra heads. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, you know what? Let's just keep adding heads to it until the problem's solved. That is an interesting solution. That feels like something the Simic would do. I dig this. I like the fact that in a pinch, you can just use to put 2 +1/+1 counters on a creature, essentially, by putting the first one on and then doubling it. And I like it that with other creatures, they're just going to get massive, because I have a bunch of creatures in my deck that already natively use +1/+1 counter, so I'm down. The artwork is serviceable. It shows a Hydra with extra heads being grown. That's the Invigorating Surge. I mean, you can clearly see what, like, this whole like doubling sort of concept where it's like, all right, add all these extra heads on. Fair enough. But the artwork isn't super exciting. Then we've got Lore Scale Coatl. 1 green, a blue, and white for 1 green, a blue, and a colorless for a 2/2 snake. Whenever you draw a card, put a +1/+1 counter on Lore Scale Coatl. This card's been reprinted a fair bit. The flavor text says, the enlightenment I never found in Ethereum, I found traced in the Coatl scales. And I mean, talking about Ethereum, that's all the way back to Alara block, where this guy originally showed up from. It's interesting to have a snake called the Lore Scale, as you gain knowledge, it hardens the scales of this serpent. That is an interesting concept, and the artwork's pretty good, man. Looks pretty nice. Moving on, we've got Faith's Fetters, 1 white and 3 for an enchant permanent that says when Faith's Fetters enters the battlefield, you gain 4 life. Enchanted permanent can't attack or block, and its activated abilities can't be activated unless they're mana abilities. So this shuts down a whole bunch of different things. That's not too shabby. Gaining 4 life with it as well. Pretty nice. This was in the original Ravnica block. So you can see this demon has been bound up with all of these like ropes of light, or maybe just one rope that's wound around it many, many times. Either way, pretty effective. Figured it was Kev Walker looking at that art. Then we've got, 9 lives. I did a video on this card. 2 white and 1 for an enchantment with hexproof. If a source would deal damage to you, prevent that damage, put an incarnation counter on 9 lives. When there are 9 or more incarnation counters on 9 lives, exile it. When 9 lives leaves the battlefield, you lose the game. So the idea is that you are taking on the form of a cat and you get 9 lives, but they're brief. And apparently in the previous lives, you're all these different guys. It's got this Lion King vibe to me. These people are supposed to be different characters from Magic's past. I don't get it. I kind of like, these are all the same people now? Is that what this artwork is supposed to be saying? Like, is it canon that they had the same spirits? It's weird. It is a weird choice to me. It's just a strange card to have a house cat on an enchantment and like you're the cat. I don't know, man. I did a whole video on it, so I'm not going to go on too much. The artwork is like effectively done, but it doesn't really feel like a Magic card. Then we've got, a nice looking forest. I could go for a hike there. And what? Look at this Goblin Wizard token. He looks so goofy. I love it. Look at his big stupid face. Oh my god, that's awesome. So what is it? It's a token with prowess. There's a card that makes Goblin Wizards. Oh, I'm looking forward to seeing that. So my friends, as you can tell, we've got like 12 booster packs here to get through, and it will speed up a bit as we go over cards that we've already seen, but I'm taking my time to enjoy this newness. And actually, I'm going to do 2 videos like this. I have another batch of 12 packs that we can open in another video as well. All right, Valorous Steed, 1 white and 4 for a 3/3 unicorn. It's got Vigilance. When it enters the battlefield, create a 2/2 white knight creature token with Vigilance. So this is pretty much the same deal almost as the adventure like story unicorn that we got. I mean, this one actually is, let's be real, it's probably better, but you know, whatever. I mean, it's a standard kind of concept. You've got the unicorn, you've got the knight like bending down to it. The idea of like being worthy enough to be selected by a unicorn is pretty awesome. Let's be real. I dig that a lot. But overall, the card's kind of eh. Then we've got Read the Tides. 1 blue and 5 for a sorcery that says choose one, draw 3 cards, or return up to 2 target creatures to their owner's hands. And then the flavor text says, charts and instruments work fine, but the best navigators aren't above a spell or 2 to nudge the tides in a more favorable direction. Oh yeah, dude, imagine how much more effective that would make you as a navigator of a ship if you could actually influence, like you can read the future of what's going to happen, and at the same time you're able to influence it with magic. That is dope. And I like the idea of a blue spell where you can either draw cards or bounce creatures with it, because sometimes you're really going to want creature bounce, but not always. So making it like, okay, you can pick 2 creatures for 6 mana. That's not a great deal on its own, but because of the dual choices that you have, it improves the, I don't know, it makes this card feel more useful. Admittedly, it's not like it's the most amazing card, but still, not too shabby. And the artwork depicts a bunch of individuals standing on a map, kind of charting out the course of all these different ships. That's funky. Then we've got Destructive Tampering. 1 red and 2 for a sorcery that says choose one, destroy target artifact, or creatures without flying can't block this turn. Flavor text says, I don't think they'll appreciate my adjustments. And this is a Renegade Saboteur. So this is obviously set like, this looks like the World of Kaladesh to me, right? And you can see the Destructive Tampering has had a significant effect to the point where this guy is being thrown back. So in terms of the name and the artwork tying together perfectly, and the flavors of the abilities, this whole card ties together great. Then we've got Secure the Scene. 1 white and 4 for a sorcery that says exile target non-land permanent. Its controller creates a 1/1 white soldier creature token. Flavor text says, you know it's a great show when the Azorius arrest the props too. You know what? I like this. This is some fun flavor. This is from Judith the Scourge Diva, and this is referencing Rakdos versus the Azorius. And the Rakdos are just chaos incarnate. So the fact that it's like, oh, we put on a great show, even our props got arrested. That is fun, all right? And I mean, the idea behind it too is this is a really funky card. You can get rid of any non-land permanent your opponent controls, which doesn't feel like a normal white ability, but you combine that with like the 1/1 soldier, and it totally does feel like a securing the scene, where it's like remove everything, keep the scene secure, put an officer here. I dig that. That's well done, and the artwork shows the securing officer standing in front of the scene where obviously something has gone down. It looks like they put toilet paper all over some kind of Rakdos party. I know it's probably like containing scrolls, but it really does look like it was Halloween and they went, it's like somebody TP'd the Rakdos base. Get on it, Bob. It's like, I always get the worst jobs. Moving on. Drowsing Pteranodon. 1 green and 1 for a 3/3 with Defender. As long as you control a creature with power 4 or greater, Drowsing Pteranodon can attack as though it didn't have Defender. What the Rangers thought were warning growls turned out to be nothing but monstrous snoring. All right. Well, you've got a dinosaur here sleeping. I don't know, man. I find the card to be underwhelming. I don't like it. 2 mana for a 3/3, and you have to have a bigger creature for it not to be 3/3. It doesn't turn my crank. Then we've got Colossal Dreadmaw coming back another time. Man, have things changed. When I started the game, this casting cost here, 2 green and 4, would get you a 6/4 creature with no abilities. Now it gets you a 6/6 trample at common. That's a big step up. Flavor text says, if you feel the ground quake, run. If you hear its bellow, flee. If you see its teeth, it's too late. And you can see a pirate ship, and look at the size of this dinosaur. I love how colorful it is too. Like its head's just coming down. The like view that we're getting along this waterway with the cliffs that are kind of framing this. Oh, this artwork is awesome. Like, sure, this isn't an exciting card, but this artwork is great. Everything about it is fantastic. Then we've got Sanguine Indulgence. 1 red and 3 for a sorcery that says this spell costs 3 less to cast if you've gained 3 or more life this turn. Return up to 2 target creature cards from your graveyard to your hand. The flavor text says, drink from the vein? How provincial. That's fun. That's like a visiting vampire dignitary. I do like the idea that you can bring creatures back more cheaply if you've gained like life. It's almost like you're using your Planeswalker life force and siphoning off a little bit of it to bring back these undead, but like in a different way. That's funky. And the artwork's pretty straightforward. I mean, you got 2 vampires and they got a big old container of definitely not Kool-Aid that they're having a big old sip from. Although the artwork is like, I guess maybe it's supposed to be this, maybe you have this chick visiting this guy and is like, and he's like, wait, what? Wait a minute. You actually drink it straight from people? No. We have fountains here, Maybe that's what's going on. Oh, look at this funky border. Look at that. Oh, and the mana symbol looks crazy. Okay, 1 black for Liliana's Steward. Tap this zombie to tap it and sacrifice it. Target opponent discards a card. Activate this ability only time you can cast a sorcery. Wow, this is really cheap. Like, there's a lot of ways to reanimate this guy, and the fact that he makes your opponent discard a card, that seems all right. And I believe what's going on with this border is each of the Planeswalkers in this set have particular signature cards that go along with them, and I believe they get signature card frames as well. So that's pretty neat, actually. The artwork shows the steward there holding up some some candles on a little candelabra, as well as a cup of presumably some delicious blood. All right, not too shabby. Then we've got Turret Ogre, not to be confused with Tourette's Ogre. That would be a very different creature. 1 red and 3 for a 4/3 Ogre Warrior with Reach. When it enters the battlefield, if you control another creature with power 4 or greater, Turret Ogre deals 2 damage to each opponent. And the flavor text says, common Ghoul career aspirations, Berserker, Shaman, Catapult. I like the idea of this ogre, like, just being kind of a show-off. So if another creature that shows up is as big as he is, like, when you basically, if you have another creature out when he shows up that's big enough, he looks at it and goes, oh, you think you're on my level? Watch this. And he starts whipping boulders around just to prove I'm the biggest, baddest around. I like that. And the artwork shows an ogre getting ready to hurl a giant boulder. You got like griffins flying in with lightning and stuff. It's an intense battle going on. Then we got Basri's Acolyte. This is another card that could show up with like a special treatment because Basri's one of the 5 Planeswalkers. So 2 white and 2 for a 2/3 lifelink cat cleric. Whenever Basri's Acolyte enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to 2 other target creatures you control. And the flavor text says, Basri carries on his god's legacy, spreading her teachings throughout the multiverse. Basri worships Oketra, so it makes perfect sense that he would have cat clerics as acolytes. Now, in terms of the card itself, it's okay. I mean, you're paying 4 mana for a 2/3 that can beef your other guys, and it has lifelink, but I don't think this will see play anywhere outside of draft. The artwork shows the Acolyte actually in Lands of Darkness with like these crazy sigils floating of magic floating around their hands. And I don't know, man, that like white cloak that's being worn in these dark, desolate lands stands right out. Not too shabby. Then we've got Pestilent Haze, 2 black and 1 for a sorcery. Choose one. All creatures get -2/-2 till end of turn. Or remove 2 loyalty counters from each planeswalker. It says your crops will rot. The air itself will turn against you. You will suffer as I have suffered. Some intense flavor text. And I mean, both of these hazes make sense. It's basically like you summon up a type of haze that is dangerous to living beings, or you summon up a haze that's specifically tailored to damage planeswalkers. That's pretty cool. That's some pretty cool magic. And the flavor of the art is pretty straightforward. You got a bunch of people caught in this pestilent haze, hacking up a lung. Not a good time. Then we got Silver Smote Ghoul. 1 black and 2 for a 3/1 zombie vampire. What a funky concept. A zombie vampire. At the beginning of your end step, if you gained 3 or more life this turn, return Silver Smote Ghoul from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Pay 1 black and 1, sacrifice Silver Smote Ghoul, I should say. Draw a card. And the flavor text says, being trapped between 2 forms of unlife is a fate worse than mere death. That actually is some really cool terrain to explore, right? Because vampires are sentient and intelligent undead, whereas ghouls, zombies, are not sentient. They are not intelligent. They are mindless beasts. So to be stuck between those 2 worlds would be an absolute nightmare. And it's crazy that like the Silver Smote is in the name. There's literally like a silver blade that's just driving straight up out of him right here. How intense is that? That's amazing. After that, we got Riddle Form. 1 blue and 1 for an enchantment that says whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you may have Riddle Form become a 3/3 Sphinx with flying in addition to its other types until end of turn. And pay 1 blue and 2, scry 1. So, I mean, pretty straightforward. It's an enchantment that will coalesce into an actual full-on Sphinx when it can leech off of non-creature magic energy, and also it gives you the ability to look into the future. That's an interesting concept for an enchantment. And you can see the actual enchantment Sphinx here. Imagine that just flows out of nowhere. You're hanging out in this room with what looks like a waterfall going on, and out of nowhere, a Sphinx just kind of appears, forms itself out of magical energies. That would be pretty freaky. Oh, mythic rare! Chandra, Heart of Fire! All right, we got 2 red and 3 for a 5 loyalty planeswalker. +1, discard your hand, then exile the top 3 cards of your library. Until end of turn, you may play cards exiled this way. +1, Chandra, Heart of Fire deals 2 damage to any target. And -9, search your graveyard and library for any number of red instant and or sorcery cards. Exile them, then shuffle your library. You may cast them this turn. Add 6 red mana. So overall, I mean, this is a pretty straightforward concept. There's nothing like super tricky about this. I like the fact that she has 2 +1s. I like having multiple opportunities to increase Planeswalker's loyalty, and 1 covering card draw and another being able to damage any target's pretty sweet. The ultimate is pretty crazy, but it doesn't feel like absolutely automatically like unsurvivable. You know what I mean? You get to cast the spells, like any number of them, and it does give you 6 mana. So you're going to be able to cast a ton of spells, and it's most likely going to win you the game, but it doesn't feel inevitable, but it definitely feels flashy enough to feel good. And then the artwork shows Chandra looking as she always does. Surprise, surprise, her head's on fire. She's got flaming balls of fire in her hands. I like the way she's set against like a dark night sky. It makes her stand right out with the way the fire is lighting her up. And then we've got Jungle Hollow, unexciting green-black land that gives you life when it comes into play, but with some nice artwork. And the token is a Griffin. Okay, let's move on to the next booster pack. And if you're thinking to yourself, man, this guy takes a long time to open packs of cards, this is how I enjoy packs for myself too. I take time to appreciate the cards, my friends. How can you not? 2 red and 3 for a sorcery called Turn to Slag. Turn to Slag deals 5 damage to target creature. Destroy all equipment attached to that creature. The flavor text says, if it wasn't a blackened, stinking, melted abomination before, it certainly is now. And that's a quote from Koth of the Hammer, a planeswalker we haven't seen in forever. And you can see, literally, this being is being turned into slag. What a horrific way to go. Everybody on Mirrodin has metal in their bodies, so that can be helpful, but that can also be hurtful. All right, Secure the Scene, we've already seen that. Vodalian Arcanist, 1 blue and 1 for a 1/3 Merfolk Wizard. Tap and add a colorless mana. Spend this mana only to cast an instant or sorcery spell. The flavor text says the Vodalian Empire tends to be insular. The scholarly Volsh caste are the exception, using education as an antidote to xenophobia. All right, so I actually did a video talking all about these guys. Destructive Tampering we've already seen. Colossal Dreadmaw we've already seen. Liliana Steward, there's the regular version. Grasp of Darkness. 2 black for an instant that says target creature gets -4/-4 until end of turn. The flavor text says, I welcome the use of even the foulest magic if it will rid us of the monstrosities that plague our world. And that's from Munda, Ambush Leader. All right, and the artwork's pretty straightforward. You can see the Grasp of Darkness occurring right here. It stands out so much against the very chill, nice looking surroundings, a field you could kind of wander through comfortably. It's so colorful and open. And this looks like it's actually an Eldrazi that's being consumed by darkness. Everybody had to kind of band together to fight them on Zendikar. Oh, we got another special frame here. This is Teferi's Protege. 1 blue and 2 for a 2/3 human wizard. Pay a blue and 1, tap it, draw a card, then discard a card. I gotta say, that's pretty underwhelming for what you pay and the ability and everything. This is not a super exciting setup here. The artwork's all right though. You know what I mean? It shows an individual levitating different books, making them float around. Got a little red sphere kind of going on. It's all right. All right. It's not the most amazing, but it's not terrible either. Then we've got Sabertooth Mauler, 1 green and 3 for a 3/3. At the beginning of your end step, if a creature died this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on Sabertooth Mauler and untap it. Flavor text says, I hope the idiot who introduced these creatures to the jungle was their first meal. All right. The artwork just shows a tiger. It looks all right, man. You know, it's there. It's there in the forest. I don't know. I don't like it very much. I'm moving on. Shock. Oh, they changed the artwork to one of the older printings. 1 red instant. Shock deals 2 damage to any target. This is just the standard that they're probably going to keep around for a long time, I imagine. Flavor text says, the beauty of it is they never see it coming. Ever. And that's from Razix the Spark Mage. So, whatever. I don't really care that much for this artwork. It does show somebody getting shocked and they're falling down and it seems awful, but for some reason I just never really cared that much about this artwork. So I just looked at it and was like, all right, you got this dude, he's getting blasted, he's getting taken down. Well, it's definitely not a fun way to go. What are you going to do? But it's an all right card. Then we've got Archfiends Vessel, 1 black for a 1/1 human cleric with lifelink. When Archfiends Vessel enters the battlefield, if it enters from your graveyard or you cast it from your graveyard, exile it. If you do, create a 5/5 black demon creature token with flying. This is an interesting concept on the whole do a sacrificial ritual to bring a demon into existence. I really like the sort of just the way they've done this, because depending on the way you use this, you could totally end up just paying 1 mana overall for this guy, or maybe not even. You may just pitch him straight into the graveyard and then get rid of him from there. But either way, the idea behind this is just cool. I like it. We've had a lot of cards where people give up their life force to bring out demons, but this is a new way to do it, and I dig it. The artwork shows the human cleric who will be the vessel for the Archfiend. Like the demon inhabits this guy's body, which is different from a lot of the sacrifice cards as well. I like that. Then we've got, oh good, Thrashing Bronzeton. I'm glad to see this is actually in 2021. It means I won't have to take it out of my deck. I really enjoy this guy. 2 green and 1 for a 3/4. I really like that 4 toughness. Helps keep it alive longer. Pay 1 mana, sacrifice it to destroy target artifact or enchantment. Flavor text says it cares more about preserving the herd's territory than about preserving itself. And you can see in the artwork, there's a Brontodon just laying waste to a ship. It's like, yeah, get it, son. Get it. I love this guy. So great. Then we've got Tide Skimmer. 1 blue and 3 for a 2/3 flyer. Whenever you attack with 2 or more creatures with flying, draw a card. Flavor text says, fishing boats often follow hunting drakes to find the largest schools of fish. All right. You know what I mean? Like, I guess that's tying into the whole draw a card. Follow these gigantic drakes to gain some resources. I do like the way that its wings, like the wingtips are plunged into water, drawing these kind of lines along the surface. I dig that. I dig that. Let us move on. The rare is a Temple of Silence. All right, so this Cycle of Land was brought back from 2020. It's not super exciting, to be honest. There's the Temple of Silence itself, where Athreos lives. These are just lands that when they enter the battlefield, let you scry for 1, come into play tapped, and tap for 2 different colors. In this case, white or black. Fairly underwhelming, to be real. And then we've got an island that looks kind of like this is a gigantic boulder island. That's funky. And the token is a Saproling. So it's an okay Saproling token. It's not the best, not the worst. All right, moving on to the next booster pack. Good Lord, have I really been going on this long and this is just the 4th pack? We're never going to finish. There's only 12 packs to get through. All right, we got Sure Strike, 1 red and 1 for an instant that says target creature gets +3/+0 and first strike until end of turn. To survive imminent doom, it sometimes takes a foolhardy soul who acts first and fears later. That's true. And the artwork shows a crazy Eldrazi with a little goblin facing him down, but he's got pluck, determination, and luck, and he's gonna make it through and survive. Not too shabby. Then we got Makeshift Battalion, 1 white and 2 for a 3/2 human soldier. Whenever Makeshift Battalion and at least 2 other creatures attack, put a +1/+1 counter on Makeshift Battalion. Flavor text says, their ranks are thin, their formation is improvised, their weapons are borrowed, and you'd best get out of their way. All right, flavor text is okay. The artwork shows a Makeshift Battalion. You can see this individual is clearly in like proper Boros armor, but the people behind him, they're just, or her, I can't even tell, are a bunch of random individuals. Hold on, I need a little sip of beverage here. Been talking a lot. Got to wet that whistle. All right, moving on. Spare Snare Spinner. 1 green and 1 for a 1/3 with reach. When it blocks a creature with flying, gets +2/+0 until end of turn. Flavor text says, let's lure the drakes to the webs over the Samick stand, keep the spiders content. All right. And then the artwork shows a spider that's made a big old web, just waiting to have some dinner. Then we got Deathbloom Thalid, 1 black and 2 for a 3/2. When it dies, create a 1/1 green Saproling creature token. Nature is not always gentle or kind, but all of life begets life. Well, that's true. The artwork shows like a weird fungal creature, but not a happy one. It's like gross with rot and darkness, and it's hanging out in a dark, sad forest. I don't like it. I like happy Saprolings. Then we got Furor of the Bitten, 1 red for an enchantment aura. It's an enchant creature that says enchanted creature gets +2/+2 and attacks each combat if able. Flavor text says, those who only believe themselves infected with lycanthropy can be as dangerous as those who really are. All right. So they're saying that people who are deluded into thinking that they are going to be a werewolf can be just as dangerous as people who are. All right. And the artwork shows a person just going nutty. I got bit, Charlie. They got me. All right. Then we got Masked Blackguard. 1 black and 1 for a 2/1 human rogue with flash. Pay a black and 2. It gets +1/+1 till end of turn. Flavor text says, her footsteps are whispers, her passage a last breath. All right. I mean, this is like, some kind of back alley rogue kind of rob you, pop out of nowhere style individual. I mean, you can see like this kind of shadowy stuff. It feels like she like abruptly shifted out of the shadow magic sideways towards you. Pretty intense, man. Pretty intense. Llanowar Visionary. 1 green and 2 for a 2/2 elf druid. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card. Tap it to add a green to your mana pool. The elves of Llanowar look to their past to determine the shape of their future. Alright, I mean, it's a Llanowar elf and an elvish visionary crammed together into one body. 3 mana to put out. I'll probably give it a try, in all honesty. I'll give it a try. The artwork's cool. You know, visionary standing here with all this magical green mana energy flowing up and around them. I'm down. Then we got Prismite. 2 colorless for a 2/1 artifact golem. Pay 2 colorless, add 1 mana of any color. Even in the shadow, it's a dazzling rainbow. Well, I mean, the artwork looks like it's a creature made out of prisms. I don't really care that much for it, but I do like the crazy effect on, like in the shadows. I just don't like the way it looks, and I don't find the card very exciting. So moving on. We got Duress. 1 black sorcery. Target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a non-creature, non-land card from it. That player discards that card. It says resistance is unthinkable. All right. You know what? That's okay. You got this elf here who is under duress, having a bunch of spears right up to the face. That's not going to be a fun time. So what are you going to do, man? That's an alright card. Not too shabby. Then we got Legion's Judgment. 1 white and 2 for a sorcery that says destroy target creature with power 4 or greater. Used to be able to get effects like this for 2 mana. Flavor text says, my lance was once wielded by Venerable Tarion. In his name and by his might, I cast you down. Well, that's cool. So this guy's part of a legion, and he's like, they pass down their weaponry. All right. And you can see him like driving he's like leaping up on a charger, driving his spear into some kind of gigantic dinosaur bird, maybe? That's what it looks like. It's pretty cool. Then we got Meteorite. This feels a little bit weird for Magic the Gathering. You know what I mean? It's strange, because I mean, so I know some planes have moons and stuff, but just thinking about meteors crashing onto a plane just feels weird, even though it totally can happen. You know what I mean? Like, it makes sense, but feels weird. 5 casting cost artifact. When it enters the battlefield, do 2 damage to any target. So it's literally hurtling down from the sky into whatever you want. So you can smash meteors into your opponent. And it taps for a mana of any color. That's funky. Flavor text says, and if I'm lying, he began. And that was before the meteorite hit him. You can see him under the meteorite. That's a pretty rough way to go. Then we got a very weird tree folk. 2 green and 2 for a 2/3 tree folk. Whenever you draw a card, this gets +2/+2 until end of turn. It's weird to have a green card that gets bigger from card draw. The flavor text says, if a tree fells you in the forest and no one's around to hear it, does it make a sound? Is the last thing you need to worry about. Miss me with that flavor text. It's not great, but the artwork is pretty intense, man. You've got this sort of autumnal setting where all the leaves have fallen off all the trees, including him, and he's running along with these claws of gigantic green mana energy flowing through him. That's dope. All right, what's next? Watcher of the Spheres. 1 blue and a white for a 2/2 flyer. Creature spells with flying you cast cost 1 less to cast. Whenever another creature with flying enters the battlefield under your control, Watcher of the Spheres gets +1/+1 until end of turn. All right. And then the artwork shows an Aven kind of flying around, maybe in some sort of laboratory, with a book open, taking notes. You know, maybe this is his specific lab, or he's just designated as the Watcher of the Spheres in the lab. Either way, nice artwork. And the rare is Baron. Ooh, one of the characters that we were talking about in the lore. So this is 2 blue and 1 for a 2/2. When Baron enters the battlefield, to return up to 1 other target creature or planeswalker to its owner's hand. At the beginning of your end step, if a permanent was put into your hand from the battlefield this turn, draw a card. Flavor text says, there is no age at which you stop learning. So the idea is like Baron is a master of temporal magic. So the idea of him being able to return permanents to your hand and gain knowledge from it makes absolutely perfect sense. I do like that quite a bit. And the artwork shows Baron. He's here in presumably the Tolarian Academy with magical devices around him, looking very stately and very much like the headmaster of a mage's academy. I dig that. Then we got a mountain. Look at that mountain. That's pretty good. That's pretty nice. And then we got a soldier token. All right, man. We are making our way through this pretty well, I gotta say. Another sip of beverage. I take a long time to go through booster packs, so I never know like exactly how many packs I should do in a video. This one, I'm starting to think maybe I should cut down the number of packs in this video, and then see if I can get it uploaded. All right, so we've got Celestial Enforcer, 1 white and 2 for a 2/3 that says 1 white and 1, tap target creature. Activate this ability only if you control a creature with flying. I look to the heavens for hope, but you will kneel. Okay, lady, calm down. It's pretty nutty, man. She's got like a, what is this, like a chakram or whatever? That's a pretty crazy weapon to be wielding. So I don't know, man. I wouldn't want to tangle with her. That's not good times. It's not good times. But overall, I mean, it's not a super exciting card. It's weird that you can do it with a flyer out. That's strange. But I mean, look at that. That artwork's pretty good. Oh man, there's something crazy at the back of the pack, guys. I saw like a full art something. All right, we've got Lofty Denial, 1 blue and 1 instant. Counter target spell unless its controller pays 1. If you control a creature with flying, counter that spell unless its controller pays 4 instead. And it says, the mage scowled as yet another bolt splashed harmlessly against seemingly empty air. All right. All right, I guess this is some sort of blue spectral bird that's being hit by... Oh, you know what? All right, I see what's going on. That's funky. So you've got like a red lightning bolt or something like that that's coming in and hitting some sort of spectral bird. But where it's hitting it, it's actually just kind of splashing and melting away harmlessly. Okay, I get it. That's okay. I don't know. It's this whole weird, like, if you control the creature with flying. So is this the bird actually, like, shielding somebody else? I don't know, man. Whatever. Titanic Growth. I have to admit, now that I know there's a full art card at the back, I want to know what it is. 1 green and 1. Target creature gets +4/+4 till end of turn. Flavor text says, the massive dominate through might. The tiny survive with guile. Beware the tiny who become massive. Rah! I have guile and might, and you shall be my lunch. The artwork shows a little beast who's become a big beast, looking down at somebody who's about to become a meal. I like the way he's towering above the trees. Very dope. Oh, stop teasing me. Deathbloom Thallid, we already saw it, so we can skip it. Radiant Fountain, we already saw it, so we can skip it. Rousing Reed, we have not seen yet. 1 blue and 2. When it enters the battlefield, draw 2 cards and discard a card. It's an enchant creature that gives +1/+1 and flying. Flavor text says, great literature can transport the reader. Haha. I do like the artwork, though. The artwork actually is quite nice. I like the idea of wings made out of like pages or whatever. Like reading a tome that granted magical wings and those magical wings are made out of actual pages of the book. That's pretty dope flavor. Let's be real. Then we've got Goblin Arsonist. 1 red for a 1/1. When it goes, you may have it deal 1 damage to any target. With great power comes great risk of getting yourself done in. All right. Sky Scanner, we saw you. Gale Swooper. All right, what's this? 1 white and 3 for a 3/2 flyer. When it enters the battlefield, target creature gains flying until end of turn. The flavor text says, be glad the griffin set you back on your feet when it was done with you. My goat wasn't so lucky. I miss my goat so much. All right. I mean, whatever. It gives a creature flying. The griffin looks weird, man. Look at the color of his of his claws and the outer fringes of his wings. Wow, what a striking color pattern. I actually really like that. Then we've got Canopy Stalker. 1 green and 3 for a 4/2 cat that must be blocked if able. When it goes, you gain 1 life for each creature that went this turn. The forest's cover offers shade, shelter, and an increased risk of sudden sadness. I've realized with the length of this video, there's certain words that if I've said them too many times, YouTube may go, nope. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna do a full 6 packs for this video, and that's where we'll cut it, and then I can do more with the rest of the packs I have. All right. So we've got Reign of Revelation, 1 blue and 3 for an instant that says draw 3 cards, then discard a card. The flavor text says, as the sky opened up, we ran for shelter. Halfway there, I came to the sudden realization that already soaked, there might be more to gain from experiencing the rain than running from it. That would be a weird concept. Just having like rain starts falling on you and you realize that it's not actually just making you wet, it's literally giving you knowledge. This chick admittedly looks like she's like a hippie. Her outfit looks like a hippie, and it's like, I don't know, man. Did you take something? Did you do something we don't know about before you got here? Did you ingest a little something questionable? Is that why you think you're getting these revelations? But you know what? Funky concept is a spell. Then we've got Thrashing Bronodon. We saw you already. We've got Brash Taunter as the rare. 1 red and 4 for a 1/1 indestructible. Whenever Brash Taunter's dealt damage, it deals that much damage to target opponent. And for a red and 2, it fights another target creature. You hit like a kobold! That's some fun flavor text. So this is like the, what was it? Stuffy doll. All right, so it's like a red stuffy doll almost. Funky, man. That's cool. And the artwork, I like that it shows him as red and the other goblins as green, like he's just this angry jerk. Somehow nothing can destroy him. He would be the most annoying friend to have. Every time you like knock him off a cliff or something, it's like, oh God, he's back. All right, let's see what the goodness is. Oh, Lordy McGordy, look at that. Oh, wow. Nice. Containment Priest. 1 white and 1. It's a 2/2 with flash. If a non-token creature would enter the battlefield and it wasn't cast, exile it instead. The flavor text says some protection requires a bit of finesse. And the artwork shows the Containment Priest literally like weaving somebody's soul up into an orb and trapping them inside of it. What a horrific fate that would be. That's awful. And it's the extended art. How nice is that? And then we've got the unexciting Scoured Barrens White-Black land and a Griffin token. Not too shabby. So, oh, the battery light's flashing as well. Okay, hold on, guys. Hold on. We're gonna get through this pack. We'll cut it at 6. Sorry if you feel a little bit teased by that, but there's nothing I can do about that at this point, especially with the battery thing. So I will come back and open more though, all right? So we got Tome Anima, 1 blue and 3 for a 3/3 spirit. It can't be blocked as long as you've drawn 2 or more cards this turn. Sometimes knowledge takes on a life of its own, and you can see there's a bunch of books and everything flowing into this guy. This is actually really, really cool artwork. I really like the idea behind this. Basically like, oh, look, I've gained knowledge and this creature benefits from it. Gonna try and move through this pack a little faster because of the battery. All right, we got Bone Pit Brute. 2 red and 4 for a 4/5 menace. When it enters the battlefield, target creature gets +4/+0 till end of turn. Welcome to the club. Ugh, that flavor text. That's awful. The artwork shows a pretty insane looking brute. He's a Cyclops. Oh, cool. He's a Cyclops with elephant tusks, a headdress, and a giant spiked bone club. That's intense. How does he get +4/+0 when he shows up? Does he give you his club and go, get you some? That's all right. That's all right. Not too exciting, but all right. And we've got Staunch Shieldmate, 1 white for a 1/3 dwarf soldier. Gilded with gold from a dragon's trove it is, and etched with the image of the dragon I slew to take it. Nice. So you got a braggy little dwarf who accompanies you on your journey and protects you with his golden shield. All right, and he's shown in a bar kind of chilling. I dig it. Keen Glide Master. Ooh, Glide Master. 1 blue and 1 colorless for a 2/1 human soldier. Pay a blue and 2. Target creature gains flying until end of turn. Fear is a rational response, but waiting won't make it any easier. Just jump. And you can see, there we go. We got a bunch of people flying off. That's all right. We already saw you, Snare Spinner. We already saw you, Death Bloom Thallid. Infernal Scarring. 1 black and 1 for a enchantment that gives enchanted creature +2/+0 and has, whenever this creature goes, draw a card. Flavor text says, one who's marked by a demon in his life is sure to be remembered as one when they're gone. Man, that's not fun. That's not fun. Being considered a demon, having demonic markings all over your body. Yeah, no, that's not good. Roaming Ghostlight, 2 blue and 3 for a 3/2 flyer. When it enters the battlefield, return up to 1 target non-spirit creature to its owner's hand. Some who die senseless deaths return as formless spirits, seeking answers where there are none. Oh, so it's just like an aimless spirit that can disrupt people's existence. Huh, funky. Looks like a crazy jellyfish, doesn't it? That's all right. We already saw Shock. We already saw this guy. Chrome Replicator. 5 casting cost 4/4 artifact creature. When it enters the battlefield, if you control 2 or more non-land, non-token permanents with the same name as one another, create a 4/4 colorless construct artifact creature token. Who would you trust to watch your back more than yourself? So this is literally a guy creating a replica of himself after realizing it's okay because somebody else has another copy of him. Oh, you're twinsies? We can be twinsies too. Oh, we got another special border. This one's on Liliana's Devotee. This is 1 black and 2 for a 2/3. Zombies you control get +1/+0. He's a human warlock, so he doesn't get the benefit. At the beginning of your end step, if a creature died this turn, you may pay 1 black and 1. If you do, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. Poor Liliana being followed around by this guy. He looks like a D-bag, doesn't he? He just looks goofy to me. Like, buddy, you look silly. You think you look awesome? I'm gonna put this, like, you know, you got that thing on your head? I'm gonna put these on my jacket collar. And she's like, oh yeah, you totally look cool. I'm definitely not using you as a pawn, loser. Get out of here, buddy. Then we got Shipwreck Dowser, 2 blue and 3 for a 3/3 Merfolk Wizard with Prowess. When it enters the battlefield, return target instant or sorcery card from a graveyard to your hand. Lost at sea doesn't have to mean lost forever. And we've got a Merfolk that looks like she has like a symbol of, is it Thassa? Maybe? I don't know. Either way, I like this. The underwater treasure exploration with the crazy magical wand. That's pretty dope, man. I dig it. Oh, Fabled Passage. This is a reprint, but it's a good one. Tap it and sack it. Search your library for a basic land. Put it onto the battlefield tapped. But if you had 4 or more lands, you get to untap the land. You get to untap that basic. Not too shabby. From here, the path to anywhere may be found. Now, this is a card that actually has some value, which is nice. And then we've got, this is a funky as hell looking island. Look at that. Look at these crazy spires with the lush life at the top. And the token is a pirate token. It's a pirate's life for me. All right, it looks pretty good, actually. So we're going to leave this video off here, my friends. The battery needs to be recharged, and yeah, 6 packs apparently. So I guess maybe the next video will be 6 packs? I don't know, because we're not going to do the same thing with the commons that we've already seen. I'm just going to do this as like a series. So I'll be back with more pack openings. Let me know what you think about this video in the comments below.